Hey, what's up? Thanks for checking out episode 123 of the Jock and Nerd Podcast. Our guest for this episode is stand-up comedian Billy Procida, who hosts a show called the Manwhore Podcast. With a name like that, listener, I got to make a little disclaimer right at the top of the show. This isn't one of our usual, typical Jock and Nerd shows because we talk a lot about sex. A lot. We have a pretty open and explicit conversation with Billy about sex parties, orgies, polyamory, lots of fun stuff. If you're a new listener, we're usually not this X-rated, but look, after 122 episodes, sometimes you just gotta let your freak flag fly. Know what I mean? Let's make with this sexy time very nice. Yes, Gamesh. It's the Jock and Nerd Podcast with your hosts, Anthony and Imran. Jock and Nerd, what's up, friend? This is the Jock and Nerd Podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
Thanks for joining the show. Look, we have another great guest joining us for this show, gang, is Billy Procida. Billy is a stand-up comedian in New York City, a big movie buff, and he hosts this awesome show called the Manwhore Podcast, where every episode, every week, he talks to women he's hooked up with in the past about like sex, dating, sexuality, love, and why they didn't work out. It's a great show. Billy, what's up? Thanks for joining us.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
So both you and Anthony, look, I appreciate it. It's early, Saturday. Yeah, you both had some rough nights.
40 minutes late for this.
Yeah, Anthony, like typical jock, fucking millennial douche that he is, 40 minutes late, but it's okay because you and Billy both had a rough night. Let's start.
I didn't have a rough night. I had a great night. I don't know what you were saying, rough.
All right, Billy, real quick, where were you last night? When'd you get back in?
My girlfriend and I got home from a sex party around like 4:30 in the morning. So
shit.
I'm very tired.
Ooh, look, right there, I got so many questions. Anthony,
Yeah.
Where were you at last night?
I mean, he's already like stealing.
Can you beat that?
thunder. No, I can't.
Yes,
beat
this is why I knew I was gonna like Billy.
Can't beat that. No, I was at a wedding just with an open bar, and here's the problem at this wedding at like midnight when the open bar closes. For whatever reason, I take an Adderall, and it kept me up the entire night. So I was.
Isn't that supposed to help you sleep?
It's a stimulant.
Oh, helps you focus.
Well, no, it's more. I mean, it helps people that have ADD focus. For a person that doesn't have ADD, it's just a fucking stimulant.
Well, what did you think was going to happen?
Well, I knew I knew the intent. I was just doing it. I don't know.
So
I'm sorry.
Look, listener, we got a straight up challenge guy for the Jock, which is why I'm very excited in terms of Jock things. But Billy, man, thanks for joining us. Before we get to, we're gonna do some news.
Are we just gonna like skip the sex orgy thing? The orgy that he was.
No, we'll get back to the sex orgy. Look, if you're a new listener, thanks for joining us. This is what we're gonna do. We got a little bit of news. Billy's gonna hang out with us. Then we're gonna talk to Billy about being a movie buff and the state of the movie industry, and about sex parties. Believe me, we will get to the sex parties.
All the nerds want to talk about
before. We might actually be teaching our nerds a thing or two. Before we start all that, Billy, I want you to take a minute and tell our listener what the Manwhore Podcast is about.
Well, you summed it up pretty nicely before. No, it's all right. No, you nailed it, dude. Back in April 2014, I started talking to women I hooked up with every week about sex and dating, and it's since evolved that now I also include special guest sex educators and porn stars and sex workers, queer performers, sexperts, and other stand-up comedians. So I've had on like RuPaul's Drag Race winner Bianca Del Rio. I've had on porn stars like Sarah J and Nina Hartley. I've had on burlesque dancers. I had a gay rapper. I had a guy he's a straight male escort. He gets paid to fuck women. It's like my dream job.
Wow, that really is a dream job.
I like how you throw you're like, I talked to porn stars, I talked to a male escort, I talked to a gay rapper. Wait, what doesn't belong here? A gay rapper?
Well, a gay rapper totally belongs. He's totally under the purview of my show. Yeah.
Okay.
Because we talked about, the dude's got sick rhymes, but instead of like rhyming about like smashing pussy, he's rhyming about sucking dick.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I got you. There you go.
With the same veracity.
There you go.
Veracity, whatever the word is. He's great. His name's Big Dipper.
Big Dipper.
He's He's this big bear of a dude. He's great. I think he's awesome.
Yeah.
Check him out on the places. Yeah. And so for him, like we talked a lot about how, being a big fan of 90s rap growing up but that's like also like the height of homophobic rap.
Yeah.
So being a gay kid, loving rap music that is talking so poorly about you and people like you. It's very interesting. And then how like rap is evolving and how like, 5 years from now, we're going to have kids in the suburbs bumping down the street and their dad's BMW just going like, got that dick in the palm of my hand. He's going to turn to his buddy and go like, hey, so we're going to get pussy later? Like, that's just...
It's just going to be normal.
For decades, gay men have had to listen to rap about pussy and just quote those lyrics. And no! God damn it, now we got songs about man-on-man boy love. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
Wow, that sounds really interesting. I have actually heard... there's like a hardcore lesbian rapper too, but she's not very good. Like this guy, your guy sounds like a legit, like he's good. This other girl I'm thinking of, I can't think of her name, but man, I'll tell you, I listened to some of your episodes and it's great. You have a lot of great guests, a lot of great information, and it's like educational too. You really learn, you get a lot of insight from women and just different types of sexual, what is it?
I don't know. What is it?
Choices or likes,
Preferences.
interests. Yeah. The Jock and Nerd Podcast. I want to talk a little bit about box office and Suicide Squad. Despite, being a big dumb movie, still making big dumb money, it remains number one for a third week. And boy, Ben-Hur didn't even fucking get a chance.
To be fair, it's been up against like there's no competition.
No, it hasn't.
Since it came out.
Yes.
I mean, War Dogs is the closest. Sausage Party was probably the best chance of it being knocked off last weekend, and it wasn't that far off. I think it was like 8 million off. So it's like that was close. And then, but everything else has been like R-rated comedies are what came out the last couple weekends. So what do you really expect? Look, here's what I have an issue with Suicide Squad is that critics said this is a bad movie.
Yeah.
Then people saw it on Thursday and Friday, and they were all tweeting, "This is a bad movie." And then so despite bad reviews, terrible word of mouth, and a confusing trailer, it still did 100. It still broke a box office record. So, like, we deserve Trump. That's what we deserve.
I see your point there because Jurassic World, I had the same issue with. Big dumb movie.
Well, the only thing about Jurassic
money.
World is it actually got pretty decent reviews.
Yeah, no. Like, what I'm saying, it's one thing when like a bad movie turns out to be bad, maybe mixed review, but like everyone said, like, this is not good. Don't do this. With Trump, we go like, this is not good. Don't do this.
He's going to fucking win.
It's a confusing trailer. And like, why is there some random silent chick in a bathtub in Donald Trump's campaign ad? But no, we still might elect him. And maybe we deserve that.
That's a good point. The Suicide Squad is a lot like Donald Trump. Look, this movie has earned $262.2 million domestically. And that is already more than Amazing Spider-Man and Captain America, the Winter Soldier domestic totals. So, goddamn, but it's sending a signal that, like, you can make big, dumb, nonsensical movies and just put some ass in it, and people are going to come see it.
At least it was better than Batman versus Superman.
Was it? I saw Batman vs. Superman, and I was just like, this is really loud. And, and I haven't thought that since I saw Interstellar. And then, I didn't even bother with I'm going to watch Suicide Squad, but like on a Netflix or something, or on HBO Go, because I don't want to contribute, or like in its 6th weekend of release. I have Movie Pass, so like, not to like plug them because I'm mad that they raised their prices, but Movie Pass, I pay $45 a month to see as many movies as I want in theaters every month. So it doesn't really cost me to see Suicide Squad. So I might see it when it doesn't matter anymore. But man, was I pissed that people did this. Also, on your box office thing, like, it's hardly a comparison though, because like look at the drop offs. Yeah. This thing had no fucking legs. 67% after the first weekend. That's fucking horrendous.
What's a bad? Like, is it over 60?
67% is really bad.
What's the metric? Like, is it over 60 is a bad one? Like a bad
for a blockbuster movie like this, for a tentpole in August. Yeah. Even like early August. Late August is a little different, but early August, it's the summer. You can still make big bucks. For a temple like this, like over 52%, If over 55% or higher is not a good fucking. That's a bad drop off, man. Weekend to weekend from their first to second weekend. And if you compare it, I know it's like made more money than Guardians did on opening weekend, but look at their legs, like because that's the movie people compare it to. They compare it to Batman vs Superman, and they compare it to Guardians because Guardians also came out the same weekend 2 years ago, and it was also an obscure comic book group with some big stars in it. And Guardians opened as a surprise hit, and Suicide Squad made more than an open weekend, but like. Guardians had better legs. Like Guardians dropped off like 55%, but then it was like you look at their weekends, then it drops 30%.
Wow, there you go. It's a way better movie.
40%, 20%. Like you don't drop. You always drop about anywhere from 45 to 55% each weekend. You don't drop 20% unless you're like My Big Fat Greek Wedding and you have legs like that go on for days. Suicide Squad, fucking 67, over 50% this weekend. It's just like not good. It made 20. Look, dude, think of it this way: it made $133 million the first weekend, and then the third weekend made 20.
That's called no legs at all. And I think it may.
I think you're gonna like this movie, Billy.
It's fun if you go in with low expectations.
It's not good. The only thing is it's better than Batman vs Superman because Batman vs Superman set the bar so low that DC can just jump over that, and it's okay.
I don't think anything, and there's nothing.
Squad is not good.
There's nothing really.
We've already talked.
There's
about
nothing really coming out too. There's just the Sully.
Well, nothing like end of August.
I'm looking forward to Sully. Yeah, end of August, early September is kind of a dumping ground for movies. If you think about it,
no, it's terrible.
Yeah,
the next Marvel tried to. They did that Thor in like November, so like they've been trying with November releases to make that a little thing. But then the next big thing.
It's been kind of a shitty summer for movies.
They got. What are you talking about? We got Doctor Strange coming out.
Yeah. November.
Yeah.
They've been experimenting with the November releases, trying to make that a thing.
I'm looking forward to Sully. I was just looking at the upcoming release. I'm looking forward to Snowden. I'm curious what Snowden's going to be. Yeah. Magnificent Seven. There's some good stuff coming out.
Yeah, there's still some quality. I'm looking forward to Avengers Infinity War because we found out that the Guardians of the Galaxy confirmed by Vin Diesel, who we know he's a reliable source, that he said that they're going to be in Avengers Infinity War. They said the Russos kind of clarified. They said they wanted the movie to be very different and distinctive. There's certainly a cross-pollination between characters and story arcs. But the first movie is very clearly Avengers Infinity War. And we don't know what the second one is. So there's going to be shitloads of superheroes leading to this movie. Billy, do you think we're reaching like superhero bubble fatigue burst with these movies?
In the Marvel universe, nope.
Okay.
They're crushing it. It's insane. They're like the Bulls. They're like Jordan's Bulls, like
Bulls in the 90s.
That goes over that, Billy. You can't use sports referentions. That goes over Imran.
I know that one.
Do you know who Michael Jordan is?
It happened in the town I lived in. I was paying attention.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so with Marvel because Marvel's just doing such a great job. Whereas in DC, stop making movies.
Well, and I think
Sony, stop making movies. Everyone who's not Marvel, stop making movies.
I think that's the other reason for Suicide Squad being kind of successful is we just want one of these movies from DC Warner Brothers to be good. And this was like the least crappy of their fucking movies so far that you could have fun with that wasn't just, so dark and downtrodden.
Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
I mean, they've only done 3
They've only done 3. It's going to take...
in their universe.
Yeah, they gotta ramp up to it. I found this interesting article I wanted to discuss with you guys from Collider. It deals with the question, does Hollywood need to stop listening to the internet and listen to their talent instead? Which, of course, you're like, yeah, no shit. But what was interesting was they mentioned 10 years ago, this movie Snakes on a Plane. Everyone knows motherfucking Snakes on a motherfucking Plane. It came out, but it wasn't the movie that we got. The internet caught on to this fact that Sam Jackson was doing this movie called Snakes on a Plane. In fact, it wasn't even called that. It was called something else, like Passenger 241. He, in an interview, just offhandedly goes, yeah, I'm doing some Snakes on a Plane movie, to which point there's a fan-made trailer that actually came up with the famous line, Get these motherfucking snakes off a motherfucking plane.
That's the only time the internet was right when they had an opinion.
Isn't that crazy?
To go in a movie. That line is the only reason to watch the movie.
Yes, and the irony is Sam Jackson the whole time going into this, he said, this needs to be an R-rated, violent, campy, adult movie. This is what I will go see. You guys aren't pushing this far enough, and they ignored him. But
it was an R-rated movie.
Was it R-rated?
It's an R-rated movie.
No, at the end it was. And the reason it was is once they saw the internet kind of confirm what Sam Jackson was thinking, they went and they they reshot scenes adding nudity, drug use, and a snake bite to an exposed titty during a bathroom sex scene to push it R-rated. The only problem was the violence was still fucking PG-13 tame shitty violence because you can't reshoot that shit so it'll change the tone of the movie. So it was R-rated, but it's still kind of like it fell flat. But it's iconic for the line for them listening to the internet. But should they listen to the internet? That's the one case it's good nowadays. I don't think it's such a good idea. What are your thoughts on this, Billy?
Yeah, listen to your fucking talent. We're better than the average person. It's just that simple. Like, the internet doesn't know what it wants. They think, like, I want this thing, but then they don't understand, like, how to actually make it. It's like a fucking child. They're like, I want a bed made out of ice cream. And they're like, you don't really want, like, you think you want a bed made out of ice cream, but you don't understand, like, how to make a bed of ice cream work in the environment of a home or hey, you're going to have to shower a lot if you're covered in ice cream all the time. They're like, no, I want a bed covered in ice cream. And you're just like, I promise, you really don't want. And then you finally give them a bed of ice cream. And then they go like, oh, I'm all sticky from the ice cream. This sucks. This is bullshit. Like, well, you fucking cunt of a kid. That's what you get. Here's the thing. It's like when the internet is confirming what the talent is saying, yes, that should just act as reinforcement. But the lack of internet backing up the talent, shouldn't stop them from listening to the talent. For a great example would be Deadpool when they're like toying with PG-13 versus an R. Yeah. When the internet was like, yeah, this is an R movie. I don't know if that had any influence, but that was a good move. If it was a PG-13 movie, it would have been like another Wolverine fiasco.
Fuck this movie shit. Billy hosts this awesome show, Anthony, called the Manwhore Podcast, and I've heard some of the episodes, some crazy stories. Billy, you told us a little bit about what it's about. There's a story that I'm very interested in. Something about blindfolded sex stranger. It sounded very dangerous.
I've done that a couple times. Very fun.
How do you
wait, a couple times? Like, how do you set this up?
How do you set this up? What is it?
I ask
Craigslist, or do you know people?
I mean, I've done stuff through Craigslist. The blindfolded stranger play. I've not done through Craigslist. One was through Reddit and one was a woman I met.
Reddit.
Yeah, Reddit's great. I've used Reddit a lot.
What's the subforum?
Let's see. Well, there's a few that I've used, but I mean the ones that I talk about often are Random Acts of Blowjob and Random Acts of Muff Dive.
That's the actual subreddit. So how does this work? What does the Reddit ad say?
I answered an ad for a Random Acts of Muff Dive, and we just, in talking back and forth, I pitched her a scenario, and she was down. Where the first one I did was a few years ago. Actually, she was a recent episode. I think she was episode like 122 of my show.
Was that Andy? That's the one I heard.
Yeah, that was Andy. Yes. That was Andy. She came. I was living in Jersey temporarily at the time, and she came to the house and saw a note on the door. It said, "Come in, take this note down behind you." And then she did that, and it said, "Go upstairs." She goes up the stairs. There's another note, a sign. It says, "Turn left." She takes that down. There's a sign on my door. It reminds her of all the rules that we had pre-negotiated and all the. Well, I mean that's important, especially when
especially when you're blindfolded.
Especially when we're dealing with consent stuff. So I was basically reminding her she has kind of blanket consent for these actions and whatnot, and how she's in control and I'm not doing anything unless she tells me to or directs me to, and it is what it is. There was a condom next to the. So she walks in and Blink-182 is playing because she requested it, which is weird, but whatever turns you on.
So you had to compromise on that.
That was probably the thing I compromised on. Was like, fine, I will play.
But how do you get a hard on during Blink 182? Like, are you like, what's my age again? Like, what are you playing right now?
I mean, like, I was definitely flaccid when she entered the room. But I was very well, not because of that, just because there's been no simulation. But like, I'm incredibly turned on. It's a very erotic scenario because what happened is when she walked in the door, she sees me on my bed, blindfolded, and I had that blindfold on probably for a good anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes. So I didn't know exactly when she was walking in the door. I knew what time we said, but, I purposefully put it on a little early and, maybe she ran a little late. I don't know. And, you're just sitting there in anticipation. You're waiting for it because you're like, And then I hear the door open. I'm like, okay, she's here. Cool. And then eventually I feel a hand on my thigh very lightly. And it's like going like up my thigh and then like up my body. And she leans in and she kisses me and, she started off like she went down on me, and then eventually we were fooling around. Then she had me eat her out, and there was a condom on the nightstand, and I had a note that said, "If you choose to use this condom, you can't take the blindfold off of me today." So that was what I was gonna say. I was like, if we're gonna fuck, we're not gonna see. Like, I'm not gonna see you.
Okay.
And then, but eventually, she just I guess she got turned on so much she wanted to fuck. So we put the condom on me. We went to town. We had some fun. We laid in bed and chit-chatted while I had a blindfold on. Before she left, she gave me a farewell blowjob and for round 2. And she left. And then I heard the front door close. Then, because my window is near the driveway, I heard the car door close. And that's when I took the blindfold off.
Oh, shit. So you never saw her.
The first time I saw her in person was when we did the podcast.
And then he got her back on
this is the question, Billy. When you saw her, was she hot?
I wouldn't call her hot. She wouldn't have been someone I would have wanted to fuck in a different scenario. But she was cute enough that it was more about the scenario.
The situation was hot.
It's not, it's not always just
about. I mean, you fucking blindfolded yourself. You didn't give a shit if she was hot or not.
I mean, I was aware of her body type, and I was aware of I had a vague sense of what she might look like, but I really didn't remember by the time we actually got to it because I didn't really want to see her much. I asked for an ID photo with her face covered because I just wanted to I wanted to know she was of age.
Yeah, right.
I imagine both parties at some point are probably thinking, I could be killed right now. This could just be a murderer. I don't know what I'm getting myself into.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely opening myself up for a possibly dangerous scenario, but so is she.
Right.
Especially, there's definitely way more documented violence of women getting assaulted on Craigslist than men getting assaulted on Craigslist. Not that either gender can't get. As a man, I'm not impervious to knife wounds and gunshots. You know
yes,
what I mean?
You are. You're a fucking man, bro.
He's bulletproof. You're not.
But at the same
Dudes
time,
can't get hurt.
I definitely have some privilege in that. I definitely fear
it's white privilege.
I would say it's more of I would definitely say it's more of a male thing in that
I'm fucking with you, bro.
White male privilege, yes.
Well, because I definitely took precautions. I sent my best friend Katie information anytime I do something kind of Craigslist-y, because although I'm generally not afraid because not a lot of sexual violence comes my way often, I can still be smart, and I think that's still responsible. So she gets a phone number, or she'll get an email address or an address. She'll get any information I have. So in case I go missing, she knows who to blame and to get.
So you're dating right now? You have a girlfriend?
I have a girlfriend now. That is a new development in my life.
Oh, that's new. So
I haven't had a girlfriend since I was 19. So
how old are you now?
27. That's why I started the podcast. When I was 24, I started the podcast.
Someone has locked down the Manwhore? Is that what I'm hearing?
Kind of. I mean,
but they went to a sex party
last night. So,
did you meet her through crazy sex parties or some shit? How do you find this girl that's into that?
I started the show back when I was 24. I was very frustrating in the dating world in that women would sleep with me, but they wouldn't date me. And I'm a hopeless romantic, so that was a problem for me.
Holy shit, you're a hopeless romantic?
Yeah, I'm very cutesy-wootsy. I cry during movies. I know how to knit, stuff like that. I don't know why knitting has to do with it. But, yeah, so I started the podcast because I was let's ask the women themselves, what's going on. And so I did that. But, yes, I met my current girlfriend, Paige, at a sex party back in December. I just finished having sex with my friend and in one room, and I was walking through to go upstairs, and then I go through this next room, and this girl just like kind of like pops out of nowhere with a big smile on her face. She's like, "Hi, I'm Paige. You're cute."
And that's your girlfriend?
She's now my girlfriend. Yeah.
So what kind of a open relationship, you guys? I know on your show
Well, kind of. We already know they went to a sex party last
Well, he talks
night.
about polyamory a lot.
What's polyamory?
On
Billy?
his show?
Polyamory is the idea that it's like having multiple romantic relationships at once. It's kind of like treating love like it's not a finite resource.
Ah, got it. But if you're a hopeless romantic, are you able to have like polyamory like that?
Well, polyamory literally breaks down to means like many love.
Right.
So it's not about fucking a bunch of different people. It's about having romantic feelings for multiple people. Having said that, we do not like practice polyamory right now. When we negotiated the terms of our relationship about a month or so ago, what I asked for was, I was like, I need to keep shit a little simpler right now. So I said, right now, I'd really rather us not pursue other romantic connections. Like,
so is this negotiation in a conference room? Like, how does this
Is there
happen?
paperwork? Was there a notary public?
Yes, I did have my legal counsel there advise me.
It's important.
Many times she said, you should not say that. And I said against the advice of my legal counsel many things.
I'm not taking the plea deal.
I was like, no, you know what? I don't like you with bangs. I don't think bangs look good.
Non-negotiable.
Even though it's not a good thing to say. I think it's important to negotiate terms in any relationship. It's because a relationship is whatever 2 or 3 or 4 or 12 people want that one relationship to be. I think you make your own rules. I think and even if monogamy ends up being what you both want, I think that's great. I just like people to know that they have options. Like, monogamy doesn't have to be you shouldn't choose it by default. You should choose it because it's what you want to do. So for us, we're not doing dating other people. So in theory, one could emotionally cheat on the other.
Sure.
But we do have an otherwise open relationship. So Ken, last night, she's very into BDSM, so she was getting like spanked and flogged by a bunch of people. I went down on this chick that I met, who apparently has been listening to the podcast.
She wants to be on the show now.
I saw her sucking some other dude's dick. I can't remember if she got fucked or not.
Is there ever feelings of like jealousy, Billy?
I don't get
for you.
I haven't felt jealous with her yet. No, because she's been following kind of the rules that.
Oh yeah, you negotiated the terms.
We negotiated. I know she's coming back to me. She's very sweet. She's very sweet on me. There's really no with romantic jealousy. There's really no question about how she feels about me. And then sexually, I'm like, it's all right. If anything, I'll sometimes feel a little odd, but the feeling is definitely not jealousy. Because she'll have just finished fucking the shit out of me. She'll have just licked my asshole real good. And so if she goes and blows some other dude, or gets eaten out by somebody,
gross.
I might, I'm not going to feel jealous because I'm like, how can I feel jealous? She just ate me. She just ate me out.
Anthony, is that too kinky for you?
I wouldn't go. I wouldn't let.
Have you ever gotten a rim job, man?
No, is it good?
God, they're great. Oh, dude, it's the best.
But you have to have a clean fucking asshole.
Oh yeah,
that's kind of.
You don't have to, but I
know
do.
you don't have to, but that's fucking gross.
Last night there was a dude getting spanked by this girl I know who he had a hairy as fuck asshole. There was a bush climbing out of the fucking thing. It looked like maybe more hell was coming out of his asshole. There was just tentacles coming out of hair. And that's a turn off. I don't even want to feel hair on my own asshole. So I actually mine's always pretty well shaven, especially if I know I'm going to a party or if I have a hot date.
Where do you find these parties? Not that I'm interested in right now.
You just gotta get the right invite, dude.
Oh, it's literally invite only. You just know people that do these things.
There are parties that are very open, kind of open source, open Facebook invite type.
Sure.
Some have strict. Every party's different. Some have very strict applications. Some are very, hey, if you know about it, you're welcome to come. Some people are it's private email. And it's just last night there were actually a lot of parties going on. The sex party I normally go to called Hacienda, they had a private birthday party for someone. I was not invited because I don't know who the birthday person was.
And you're not Hispanic.
I know what you mean, but it actually has nothing to do with it.
I'm literally fucking with you.
I thought you said quinceanera. I thought you said quinceanera.
I'm not mad. It's just Oddly, it has nothing to do with that. It's not like Hispanic themed. There was a bondage party going on somewhere. There was a party called Countdown, which is like open source. Like anyone who finds the invite can go. It's a run by the House of Scorpio. Like you could Google it and just go.
Damn.
We were gonna go to that, but then her friends all decided to throw a little private shindig at this dude's apartment. So that has no admission costs. So we were like, let's just go to that. So it was just like a private party amongst like her friends.
How many girls do you think you've slept with?
I know exactly how many.
How many?
I've slept with. That's a very personal question.
I'm sorry. More than 10? Yeah, of course, right? How many shows have you done?
Well, so to qualify to do the show, it's make out with or more.
Oh, okay.
So that's at least 123.
Makeouts are makeouts are easy. Easy as well.
I think my number right now is 77.
Oh wow, you can track.
Damn.
Oh shit.
Good for you. Is that like a proud thing for you, or is it like a matter of fact, whatever?
I mean, because I don't fuck everyone who says yes. Like I'm not trying to like rack up numbers. I'm not like I don't keep notches. I have a list partially for practical purposes because I do have a podcast where I talk to those people. So it's good to remember who I've put whose tongues I've touched.
Oh yeah. So the qualification to be on the podcast is make out or more.
Okay. But it's a point of pride of like that they want to have sex with me a second time. I think that's nice.
Cool. Yeah, man. That means you were good in bed the first time, right?
I suppose so, or maybe I brought good snacks. I'm not sure which, but
So when these girls, when they make it back onto the show, like, does it tend to be awkward, or is there like a theme you find that they all say the same similar kind of stuff?
It really just depends guest to guest. Again, around nowadays, about half of my guests are special guests, and the other half are like my past partners. But it kind of depends. Sometimes they're funny episodes, sometimes they're awkward episodes, sometimes they're sad episodes. We've had episodes where we just talked about like the joys of anal fisting, and we've had episodes where
the joys. That was a great cookbook back in the day. The joys of I think that was a.
We had if you heard the Andy episode, then we talked a lot about rape culture and internet threats that women face every day.
Yeah.
We had one where a woman thought she started breaking down in tears as soon as I hit record because she thought that she had raped me. And it had been on her conscience for like 2 years.
But she didn't rape you.
No. I clarified her that I definitely did consent, and then I shared with her a story of when my respect was disrespected by a woman. So to like show her the difference of like what was cool and what was not.
Wow,
cool.
What's been the your favorite episode ever?
Oh God, that's always such a hard question because like when someone new is listening to the show, they're like, "Where should I start?" I'm like, I don't know. It's almost like I can choose favorite episodes by like I guess decade of episodes. Recently, I thought the April Flores episode was awesome. I did an episode with the co-authors of this book called The Ethical Slut, and these two old ass women. One of them banged Wilt Chamberlain.
Wow, she was one of the 20,000.
Yeah, holy shit!
Right.
Wow,
I had no idea. Like she's just talking. She's like, because I was asking her what it was like being in New York City back in the, I think she said the 50s. I forget exactly when. Because she's like in her early 70s now. So she's talking about it, and then she says, "Yeah, I was at this club uptown, and the first time she ever picked up a man, she was at this club uptown, and she was sitting with this man who like started talking to her, and they were flirting, and then eventually, they decided to get out of there and go fuck somewhere. But as they were leaving, one of the waitstaff said, "Thank you, Mr. Chamberlain," and I was like, "What? You fucked the Wilt? Like, whoa."
That was
a great one.
That's like Elaine's story on Seinfeld where she met that old lady who fucked Mahatma Gandhi. But dude, Wilt Chamberlain, the original man whore, kind of.
Yeah.
I would like to hear that podcast.
Some other great ones was we did one with this girl who I had a great first date with, who then just ghosted me hardcore. Maria, and hers was about how like a lot of it was about how she has herpes and how dating with herpes. Well, because and we
Yeah.
go into like how the stigma of herpes is actually worse than the virus itself. When we talked about like transmission rates, we talked about like her dating life since then.
You can never get rid of it, right? Herpes.
Correct, but like also there's a good chance there's three of us talking right now, so like we probably at least two of us have herpes.
You think so? Really?
It ain't fucking me. I'll tell you that much.
Well,
I'm asking seriously. Actually,
have you ever had a cold sore?
Oh yeah.
That's herpes.
That's herpes. Yeah, the herpes. Yeah, that is another form of
same
herpes.
virus.
Right.
Just show you. It just depends where it
manifests.
Yeah, just where you got it. Yeah, it's the same exact thing. So anywhere from 80, it was like maybe 75 to 90%, depending on the study, of us have herpes, either HSV1 or HSV2, and how it's not really a big deal. How there are people who say they'd rather get chlamydia, which hurts way more than herpes. But they'd rather get that because it's cured with a pill. I'm like, and herpes essentially is just a skin condition at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about that. I had another great one with a dating coach who she used to be like a pickup artist coach, and then she like grew a conscience. There's just so many good episodes. It's hard to kind of pick just one. I'm scrolling through right now, and there are particulars that stand out. Episode 78 was this girl Claire who I fell real hard for. I was just like, oh my god, this girl is everything I'm looking for in a potential girlfriend. But then just something happened where she's like, this is a bad time in my life, and it's just bad timing. And we discussed that.
It's all important stuff to kind of talk about, because I feel like your audience is going to be people who have thought these things and maybe never had the courage to actually talk to someone about it.
And what's different about my show about sex versus other shows about sex, and especially my episodes that are about with just past partners, that these are just, my guests are regular people. My guests are, I have sexperts on now, but not every guest is a sexpert. At least more than half of them are just regular women like you and me. But I think that's an important distinction, because they kind of represent the every person.
Yeah, and that's what I loved about that episode with Andy, because you said it great. You were like, the balls for this girl to actually do it. Like, that's kind of hot itself. Why
the fuck do you care what she looks like? She had the balls to do this.
She's crazy enough to do it.
And then I did it a second time last year, and we we did version 2.0 with this different woman, and it was really good. Because she's just older than me. I think she was close to 40. So I met her at this body painting event that I did, and I got her number, but I never knew what she looked like, because she was covered in body paint from head to toe. And the artist did the type of job on her face that I couldn't exactly tell what she looked like. I knew I liked her body because I could see it right there in front of me.
Right.
But I didn't know what her face. I couldn't even really tell what race she was, because that's how much she was covered in paint. And so we decided that she gave me her number, and we wanted to fuck around. So I pitched her basically the same thing, and it was just all an improvement. So this time I added earplugs, which, Jesus, that was awesome. Just in her age and experience, Andy at the time we did it, she was 18. This woman's close to 40, so she just knows things. So when she showed up, I didn't even hear her come in.
So wow, yeah. So you have no auditory or visual input.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say I was deaf, but things were numbed. You were a little bit.
You were basically Helen Keller.
A little bit, yeah. But I couldn't hear her come in, and so at one point I feel something touching, I think, my arm or my face, and I thought maybe the cat got in. Yeah, because we have a cat in my apartment, so I thought maybe the cat got in my room.
Oh, it was a pussy, all right.
Well, dude, it was a fucking feather boa. It was a feather. It was a feather. She had the mindset, she had the mind and thought to go buy a feather to prolong the tease. So it took me actually a while to figure out it was a feather, because I genuinely thought it was a cat. And then eventually, I felt a finger on a cheek. And I'm like, oh my God, she's here. I didn't even, with Andy, I knew she came in the door. I heard the door. I didn't even know she was in the fucking room.
Wow. Listen,
it was hot as fuck. Oh my God. And then it just slowly progressed from there, and we added some other things.
Imran, stop touching me.
That's where's your other hand? That's life experience, kind of showing you some new tricks right there.
Yeah, that was a cool one.
Let's talk a little bit about stand-up comedy. Where can people see you in New York? Where do you perform?
Wherever people will let me. Anybody who wants to see me live in the greater New York area can go to manwhorepod.com/comedy. And you can see me there. Like I've got some. When does this come out?
Probably like this week-ish sometime.
Cool. So, I mean, I've got some shows coming up I've got some bar shows in New York City. I'll be in Hackensack, New Jersey a couple times. Next month, I'm going to be in Massapequa, New York and Ithaca, New York for the Finger Lakes Comedy Festival. So, yeah, just go to manwhorepod.com. You can find my show dates there. You can find my podcast there. You can find press clippings. You can find, books that you can buy for me.
The guy's written articles.
Bro,
for
you
websites.
get rim jobs.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking about this.
Yeah, that's and
I'm try it. They're good. I mean, I don't really give rim jobs. I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah.
It's a slight double standard I do have.
Yeah.
But they do feel fucking fantastic.
Really? But like, is it just like you think personally, or you think any guy would like a rim job?
Do you know how many nerve endings are right there?
In your asshole? Really?
Yes, at the end.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, is that why people like fucking in the ass then too?
Yeah, it's like it's different nerve endings and different sensations, but it's close to the whole. It's an erogenous zone.
Have you ever touched yourself there, dude?
I mean, to like probably get shit out. Yeah.
No, next time you're jerking off, doing some solo action, having like a one-man adventure, just like lay back, and if you're feeling a little squirrely, just give yourself a little tap. You don't even, you don't even have to go in. Just give it a nice little a tap. You're gonna wet your finger or use lube or something, but like you're gonna be like, oh my god, that feels good.
Have you seen Road Trip? The movie Road Trip?
No, I have not.
Because there's a part where Stifler's character, he's Stifler in American Pie, but he gets a finger shoved up his ass, and he's like, whoa, this is actually awesome.
I know, the prostate, it's not a switch that turns you gay, it's just a button that makes sex amazing.
That's your prostate.
No shit.
Look, listener, you get enhanced masturbation techniques and tips only on the Jock and Nerd podcast. Jock and Nerd. Will you find
I'm just genuinely, I'm like, wow, like, really? Rim jobs, huh?
Anthony, do you have a very hairy asshole?
I don't know. I probably.
He's half
maybe,
Asian.
You know what it is? Like, maybe the next shower you do, give it a little feel. If you feel so hairy that you're turned off by it, give it a good shave. And then, you know what? Like, on next time you play with yourself, give a little tap, maybe go in. It feels quite good for a lot of people. That prostate is like our G spot. So if you get comfortable going in, don't just jam in there. But, treat yourself nicely. Like, hopefully you would treat a woman.
You mentioned G-spot. Does every girl have a different spot where that is?
I forget what it stands for, the doctor's name who found it. But, yeah, I mean, it's in different spots.
Yeah.
And then you just have to, like, kind of read your partner and get a sense of, like, what's feeling good for them, what's not. I know some girls who really don't like fingering much at all. Some love it. Some have it really shallow. Some have it deeper. It just you gotta depend. When in doubt, just ask. Yeah. Just be like, hey, can you direct me a little bit? And usually they'll want to. It's in their best interest to direct you because if you do what they like, it's gonna feel good. Like women want you to succeed in bed. And if they're shy about giving you instruction, then ask for it.
Yeah,
Definitely
there's no stupid questions. Well, listener, I bet you didn't think you were going to get some ass play talk on this episode of the Jock and Nerd podcast. I'm
genuinely intrigued by you, Billy.
Right?
Not like in a homosexual way.
Even if you were intrigued in a homosexual way, that's fine, buddy.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying I'm not. That's not me. I'm cool with gay people. Whatever.
Wow, that was such nervous apology. What? Just like that went from like making sure everyone knew you smashed puss to like, yeah, I smashed puss, but I also like gay people. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. I just don't want anyone to think I'm gay.
I have gay best friends. I'm good.
No, I just like how you were so quick to make sure that no one would ever even think that you might be.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people think I'm probably gay, and I'm okay with that. So I don't give a shit.
Are you gay?
Doesn't matter. No.
Have you ever done like homosexual stuff?
No, I've had a couple accidental, like, surprise encounters with, like, trans women, but no, like, man-on-man stuff. It's just not for me. I've had some guys, like, grab my cock in a group setting, and I just have to, like, bat their hand away, be like, no. No.
But I've also thought, on the one hand, bisexuality, you're getting the most of both worlds. Like, to be more open, those people probably have a lot more fun.
Bisexuals?
It's not that they inherently have more fun, but they do inherently have more options.
Yeah, more options. Right,
yes.
right.
Yeah, definitely more options.
I mean, I'll put they have more objects of desire, not necessarily more success or more.
It's just
fun.
it's open-minded. It's just a different paradigm. Man, look, Billy, I gotta say thanks for coming on and like challenging us. And I want to shout out that service podcast guests that we used to get Billy and Kate and Jeff Hillier. It's a pretty cool service if you want to be a guest or if you have a podcast, you need some guests, just visit podcastguest.com. And more people than you think are going to sign up because we had like 20.
How often have you
people.
done this, Billy? Or you've gone on to others?
I've been on like a lot of shows, yeah. You know,
through that app or through that what is it?
Through that app. You might be my first or second.
Oh, no kidding.
I'm also doing another one on Tuesday. I have to like get on a train and go to Westchester.
For what? For the show? You can't do it
for their
remote?
show because they do it live. Well, yeah, they said they do it live, and they also said they would pay for my Metro North.
What show is that?
The Broken Filter Live podcast. Filter. So I was like, I mean, it's probably like a $20 round trip ticket. So they're like, yeah, we'll pay that if you want to come do it. It's because they do it live. And I was like, all right.
I saw that you were on Keith and the Girl, which is
I've been on Keith and the Girl several times. They're great.
This is a show that's been going on for like over 10 years. Like when I first started listening to podcasts in like 2005, they had a show and they're
like the
going.
original podcasters. Yes, they have a whole network of a bunch of shows.
They've gotten huge.
Really?
They're huge. They have they have a shit ton of like spin-off shows. They just took a show. My friend Andrea, who's also been on my podcast for You Can Guess Why, she has a show called The Hot Mess Comedy Hour, and they actually just enveloped them into their world. Yeah, it's good. It's good podcast. They're good people. I'm a fan.
They've been doing it for a long time. It's a guy and a girl. They have great chemistry, and they just fucking
they have
talk
gay
about
chemistry.
They have gay chemistry.
Well, they started the show. They were dating when they started.
Oh, are they still? Are they together? Still?
No. They all broke up. But what happened was they wrote a book together about relationships.
Oh, nice.
Because I guess they were like, oh, you have this successful podcast, and you both date each other doing this a daily podcast. So they were like, write a book about relationships. But then while writing the book, or while it was waiting to come out, they broke up, but because of they had a in the contract they had to at least pretend to still be together for like I think a year, the first year that the book was out, because you can't have a book about relationships if you all just broke up. So they pretended to be a couple for like a year, and then now they're actually both married. Chemda married.
Oh, they got married to other people. Wow.
Yeah, Chemda married this dude, Lauren Hennessy, and then who has a spin-off show on the podcast called Bottoms Up. On the network called Bombs Up, and then Keith married a listener.
Oh shit!
No
shit. They have thousands of shows.
That's not a big deal. And marrying a listener, he's been around forever.
Keith has been on my podcast. He was on it last year.
Yeah, that's one of the old school original podcasts. Real quick before we wrap up, I just want to shout out some of the people that support us on the Patreon, because it's nice to hear your name, and there aren't many. We want them to be more. First of all, thanks to Zika's Viral Comics, Jimmy McPike, Jesse Looney, A Place to Hang Your Cape, and Philip Milan, I spelled it wrong, for supporting us on Patreon, which you can also do, listener, jockandnerd.com/Patreon. And it's kind of, Billy helped me figure out a new way to position this, because it's true. It's kind of like a fan club membership site. You pledge monthly as low as $1 a month, and you have access to bonus shows, outtakes, which I'm sure there's going to be a lot of audio from this show that's going to end up on the Patreon, and a private feed. So it's like we can do extra shows. We throw it up in this membership site, and you support us, and you're going to get it. It's a lot of fun. Billy also has a Patreon. How has your success been with the Patreon for your show, Bill?
I'm a fan. I really like it. It's been a huge deal. It's a great way to interact with listeners. I like, every month for people who give me like $4 or more a month, I send them like a dirty haiku in the mail.
That's fun.
I also have like Manwhore Podcast condoms. They're like customized condoms.
There you go.
Yo, can you send some of those?
I mail those to people of a certain level. I like to just thank every episode. I thank all of them like individually. Some people get annoyed by it because as the amount of people grows, it takes up more time of the show. But I like it. I think it's really fun. I do bonus episodes like you guys do, and I give that specifically to certain levels. Yeah, I love Patreon. It's been a game changer for me as a podcaster. I think it's so important to support independent content creators I know a lot of people don't want to pay movie ticket prices for like rising ticket prices for like shitty things, or like, they don't want to pay for their music anymore because they got used to Napster. But like, it really is important to pay and support with dollar, because support means dollars. Like when we say support us, we do mean money. That's right. Like hugs don't help me pay the rent. I love hugs, but like I need to keep a roof over my head.
I'm more of a rub and tug kind of person myself.
Right. Support the rub and tug.
Well, sometime I'm trying to do an episode that's going to be Patreon funded, which is I'm going to talk to a happy ending massage girl while she gives me the massage.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes, I want to hear that.
I gotta pay for the girl, so
you gotta pay for the massage, and you gotta
make the Patreon dollars,
and then you gotta make sure
fly out
cool.
to Vegas, or Nevada. You'll find that real easily.
Oh no, it's not that. I can find it easily. I just have to. I need to afford it. No.
Is that pretty expensive?
It depends on who I get, what kind of deal I get, but probably a couple $100. Anywhere from like $180 to $300.
It would be fascinating.
That's not so bad.
You got to find someone who's willing to let you record them too, and kind of.
I have to find that, and I have to also find someone who's like good, like who like can talk.
Yeah,
Because some of the girls I've gotten massages from, are a little awkward. So
yeah.
I gotta go through a vetting process.
That sounds fascinating. I can't wait for that.
Stop touching me.
I'm not. That's not my hand. Listen, Billy, before we wrap up, where can the listeners find you online and say hi?
You can find me on Facebook and Twitter at @TheBillyProcida. You can find the Manwhore Podcast, on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, anywhere you like to listen to podcasts. Just search Manwhore, and that's me. And then my website, where you can find all of it, is manwhorepod.com. So I'm very active on the Twitter, and that's Procida, Procida.
Right on. Well, look, we have some merch. Listener, if you want to pick up a t-shirt or a mug or something, visit jockandnerd.com/shop. It's lots of fun. You can pick your color, pick your logo, pick your nose, and pick your friends. Pick your asshole. Make sure it's clean for the next time. And if you want to say hi to us, just go to jockandnerd.com/contact. There's tons of ways to get in touch with the show. Let us know your sex party experience if you have any.
And if you want to write about it on our iTunes, go to jockandnerd.com/review. Give us that awesome rating and review, because it fucking helps the show, man. Do it.
That's right. And finally, before we peace out, man, just tell a friend. If you know a nerd who needs some tips on how women work, share this show with them. Go up to them, give them one of these. Jock and Nerd. This has been the Jock and Nerd Podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
Hey, we'll hear you next time.